What's going on, y'all? It's J Small Reviews here, back at it again with another video. As you guys can see by the title, keeping it basic today, just 3-round battle review, bar for bar, and we are going to be covering Fonz versus Mackk Myron. Latest drop on the URL app, a battle going into it, which is definitely like a mini grudge match, just in terms of it wasn't like a humongous grudge, but Mack and Fonz had traded shots back and forth for a while, both being punchers in the game. Just a competitive edge type of grudge match. And it was pretty split going in, 50-50. I thought there was things that kind of edged and, leaned in Fonz's favor. Dare I say edge, kind of clearly leaned in Fonz's favor going into this battle. But it was Mack's return back to URL. And there was a lot of hype on this. So a lot of different things I just saw in this battle that I thought made it worth the review. And without further ado, let's get into breaking this battle, starting with the first round. So starting off in the first round, it would start on Mackk Myron, and in my opinion, the first is actually probably Mack's best round. Starts with the hit with the 50 like Floyd, which was cool. A lot of chain punching, which is Mack's style, but there is pretty much the whole battle is just rapid-faced one-liner after one-liner. But about 4-6 bars in, he gets to another mother joke, which is always going to be a big part of Mack's style, but I was hoping he would tone it down for this battle, focus more on the creative punching side and give one of his better written performances like his Danny Myers or A-Ward performance, and kind of lean back on the comedy. But very early on, he's a joke about URL and Fonz's mother licking balls very well, and it's whatever. It was early. From there though, he gets into some bars too that are OBC. I mean, he rapid pace. He's like, I'm a shooter like Hornacek, rifle with the goggles for the bull like Horace Grant. Obviously get it. I've heard a lot of Horace Grant bars. Not bad, but just kind of showing me regular what Mack did. Like before coming to URL, this latest run that he had, just his workload in 2022, RB, other leagues. There was definitely good rapping in there, but there's times where the mom jokes kind of overtake, like in the Enes battle, or there's kind of some more basic, just lines that we've heard. So, one bar I did like, I got my little ape spinning like Diddy Kong. I like that a lot. Think you're the one until you get plugged in the back of your head. So he starts catching a little bit of fire with the style here at the end. 2Ks on the shelf, like I work at GameStop. So that's why I think this is the best round of Mack's. Is that second half of his first. He definitely is actually like clicking. Like I said, the mom joke bars, kind of the common critiques in the first half, but the second half, definitely a fan. But after that little flurry, he does close out. It's like a solid first, not unbeatable, but definitely formidable. And then you get to Fonz's first, small portion, shoot 'em. There will be a small portion of Mack, like the kids menu. That shit was fire. I like that. He gets into the flow pattern, the instrumental, incidental, a couple different words of that nature. That doesn't hit crazy, but definitely switching up the flow. And that's something I like about Fonz in this battle. He's showing a little bit more versatility. I don't think he's ever just been he's a puncher, that's all he is. We all know he angles a little better than the average puncher. Angle punches definitely very well, has performance-like qualities. And this is just a battle where you're seeing all of that get sharpened up. I had said after the Nitty battle that he might not go and defeat any of that, but I expect a big year from him because he defeated some demons in that Nitty battle. We're just even making that debatable. You know what I'm saying? He's just going to face other guys with much more confidence, knowing what he can do against top comp. In my opinion, it's a little bit of a mental unlock. Then he gets to his Jerry Jones haymaker. That all you can do is punch block it, his special move. And the Jerry Jones haymaker hits crazy. He is he is a Kraft mac and cheese bar. Mack's craft is the cheesiest. Talk about the way he writes. That was fire. When I come around, people got their lips zipped up like a Bape hoodie. Like that a lot. The pills can't do nothing for Mack's pain. The clientele bar that he hits. He told this story about his homie going to jail because his favorite favorite customer snitched on him. I would never want to have that type of clientele. Ridiculous, man. I just think there's a difference in the creative writing in the first and the effort put into the punches. If something about China Mack, they gonna be pouring out gin, homie, fire, even the Everlast bar at the end. So clearly, I just think there's a difference in the level of haymaker, level of writing. I'd say the Mack probably kept up in terms of rapping ability and pace, but if we're just doing the bar for bar here, I think this kind of, just shows what we're going towards throughout the battle. So it was actually Fonz 1-0 clear going into the second round. And as we get into the second round, sadly, as this battle goes on, I think some of the really good things I have to say about Fonz and some of the really, rougher things I have to say about Mack just kind of keep getting amplified. Because as we get into the start of the second, Mack starts off great flow. Like I said, he's keeping up in the rapping ability, but the start of his second is just extremely, extremely dry. Just basic one-liners, but it kind of reminds you of like early stages of punching where it's just a lot of similes and just like quick to the point punches, but there's a lack of, if you're going to be a puncher, there needs to be heavy emphasis in your material because that's all you're betting on. You're not going for the angles, you know what I'm saying? You're not going for the huge performance bars. So your content has to be there. So when you have like, referring back to the first, you have a Horace Grant line or something of that kind of like OBC nature, the rest of your bars have to be like great, you know what I'm saying? So he doesn't really hit until he gets to about halfway through the round and he gets to the clip curl like Jimmy Neutron's head. I thought that was really fire. And then he goes into a jazz like it got popped a couple years ago, like new gun, old gun got popped a couple years ago, like Jazz the Rapper. I definitely butchered the fucking setup there, but he had a Jazz the Rapper bar about her losing her virginity, and it's just this is kind of the issue. You know what I'm saying? These are extremely, extremely outdated topics. Then the Kyrie Irving, I don't give a fuck about Fonz. Thought that was dope too. Then once again, he hits another dry spot. You know what I'm saying? He gets to this Ohio rapper scheme, which was cool, you know what I'm saying? But that's just to mention. It stuck out a little bit. The metronome bar, clocked in the tempo metronome, like definitely cool lines, but stuck between a lot of dry spots. And if the first round was was Mack's best, and the first half was dry, I'd say about 2/3 of this second round to me did not score that many points. It's a pretty beatable round by him. And then you get into Fonz's second. And I'll say Fonz's second, the first half of it is definitely solid, but nothing too crazy. The DMV, talking about battling the DMV. He can't leave here without a tag on him. You know what I'm saying? DMV car department, you know what I'm saying? That was definitely good. The Mack Daddy bar was cool. His whole career depended on Ill, like Big Pharma. You know what I'm saying? Ill Will, Mackk Myron. Cool little flip there. But it's the second half of the round, because at that point I was like, he's probably on his way to winning this round, but not by a crazy amount. And then he gets into his computer scheme, which I'm going to say a couple lines out of because it's a very elongated computer scheme. Definitely the longest scheme that Fonz has tried to approach so far in a battle. I'm talking about 15 to 20 references, it felt like. So over half of the round is this computer scheme. He goes over gigs, the SD key is a SD card bar. If it's up, then it's stuck like caps locks. What was it? Cut up misfit, or it wasn't misfit, but something. Data processor. He had this crazy. It'll take a like cut the bitch up and put her back together. It'll take a data processor. That was ridiculous. McAfee asked for the protection, you know what I'm saying, the security protection fee on a Mac laptop. It was all based around, you know what I'm saying, an Apple laptop. Just every part of it. It's like I said, with some of these bars, especially with Fonz, who writes so layered, I'm gonna butcher it a little bit in the reviews, but you guys go check the battle out for yourself. It is easily the best prolonged scheme of Fonz's career, and by the time he got to the protection bar at the end, he had clearly won this round. I'd say this is probably the stick out moment of the battle, is this scheme. The crowd doesn't even catch it the first time around. When he brings it back, they start catching more and more references, and that's just a difference in the writing. I feel like levels were being shown in the writing more and more as each round went. So after 2 rounds, I did have Fonz 2-0 clear. And then lastly, we go into the third round, final round of this battle, and Mack starts off again and has his worst round of the battle. So he clearly wrote downhill the whole battle, which is something I was kind of trying to, foreshadow early on, talking about his first being his best. And he does try to show some versatility. Start off with this angle about Fonz looking up to Ill Will in him and wanting to be from the Yak. And it just does not hit in any way. Extremely dry. Like pitch silent angle. Does not land a single part of it because it just feels, okay, oh, yeah, you want to be us. But he doesn't really do it in a different way, different information. Just overall, it takes up over half the round and it is not good. Slices apple like Fruit Ninja. You know what I'm saying? He gets back into the bar for bar after the angle, and it's just OBC. It was a bad angle approach. Really bad just reference pool for the most part. And even the comedy, it's a lot. I didn't mention all the mom jokes in here, but even in the third, He's jumping in and out, trying to throw in the random bomb jokes. And overall, this is just one of the worst Mackk Myron performances I've seen in some time. And I'm excited that Mackk is on URL. I think he can do great things here on URL, but he's gotten this title of the most underrated battler, right? Or I think at least last year he definitely had that title. And I think that he was underrated at some point, but he's kind of gotten that thing where everyone called him underrated, and he's not really battling great under the radar. I mean, next is a loss. Enes, a loss. His wins last year consist of, beating Big T, did have a great battle with Bill, right? So those are the peaks. That's what you want to see on URL. But this Fonz performance is closer to next in Enes than it is Bill Collector or Big T. And it just worries me because he's talking about he wants Av, I believe, as an opponent on that he wants to take in the future and battling all these punchers. But Fonz is, I'm not going to say Fonz is the weakest. Fonz is an extremely, extremely formidable opponent on the way up. But how do you expect to get, Nitty, Av, beat someone like that if Fonz is really clearly 30ing you? And if we get into Fonz's third round, his lightest round of the battle too, but the bar was really so low for Mack's third that Fonz did not need that much to kind of go ahead and win. He had a slow start himself in the third, but he gets the Magneto bar. I started hustling because I was tired, and my stomach sounded like bad breaks, a little bit of struggle talking there. I like that. An ESPN deal. Blast him, blood and brain matter sprayed on the car. ESPN deal, couldn't get Max from around the horn. Max Kellerman going around that. I like that. And then he had stomp him out in some phone pauses. I make Penny proud. Probably his best bar of the third, and by then, just pretty clear, covering the spread. Takes the third round and takes this battle as a clear 30. Damn near a body bag, if you want to call that. I don't know if Fonz reached high enough peaks himself to say he straight bodied him, but he clearly won all 3 rounds of this battle. And I just think going into the future, this was a great win for Fonz that he can build off of. As he gets his 2023 going, probably takes a row of top tier opponents and wants the Johns, the O-Reds, the Shugs, and I think it is time for him to kind of take that hell schedule, and battles like this prove he's probably ready to battle that type of top tier competition consistently. And on the flip side, we're gonna see what Mackk Myron's next matchup looks like. I still think there's a lot of guys mid tier to top tier. We want to see Mackk and Loso, you know what I'm saying? But the Mackk and Av, some of these bigger matchups, I'm going to need to see Mackk prove it, because last time he was on URL, took the ride of loss before he headed out, right? And now he comes back and he takes a really rough loss in a grudge match, against someone that he was predicted, 50-50. I think he was favored on some of the polls. So rough look for Mackk Myron, great look for Fonz, and a dominant win. And that is my full review of Mackk Myron versus Fonz. Y'all let me know down below in the comments below. Y'all let me know down in the comments who you have winning the battle, for those of you that have seen it. And what do you think is the best, next direction for both of them? What opponents do you want to see Fonz versus, and what opponents do you want to see Mackk versus? I came into this, I just thought Fonz had a clear writing edge. He's been facing higher competition and at times with better results. I think that a lot of people love Mackk, kind of what he represents and some of the uniqueness of his style. But recent transactions plus overall skill set shown to me, I didn't think it would be this clear of a 30, but I did think Fonz was going to clearly win this battle, and I can't say I'm too shocked of how the result came out. But I still think both gentlemen can have a great 2023. It's early on. Fonz starts off great. And even with all the critiques I gave Mackk in this video, clean up the jokes a little bit and just focus on the real bar for bar. There's too many great Mackk performances like Bill, like Award, like Danny. I know it's there, but I feel like lately he's just leaned on some of the more gimmicky parts of his style rather than being the great puncher he has the potential of being. But dope battle overall. We're going to see what else comes from the outside card, and definitely want to do some reviews on the redemption card whenever that comes out. We'll be waiting very patiently and definitely reviewing a couple battles from there that you guys would like to see. But it's been Jay Small Reviews again, y'all. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the battle, and I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.